Hi guys. So what we're doing here is we're solving a challenge. The challenge returns a number count of vowels in the given string. So if it's hello, it should return a 2. It's considering A, E, I, O, and U as vowels and not Y. And the input string will only consist of lowercase letters, so we don't have to worry about their lowercase or uppercase. So what we'll do is initially let's just set up our function body using ES6 syntax. We're gonna do is using const. We're gonna label this vowels, and it takes in a string as a string of parameter. And then here we're just setting up our function body. So let's set up some expected inputs and outputs. So our input will be the string hello. Our expected output will be the number 2 because it'll have counted. We'll do another one, which input will be ASD. And the output should be 0. Okay, so now let's go. So pretty much we're going to do is our overall strategy is to take that string and iterate over the string. But what we want to do is have a condition to check to see if things are present. So for that, we're going to make a vowels array through a variable, and we're going to check to see if whatever that letter is, that string that we're looping over contains a vowel within that array. So we're going to use a couple of for loops. We're going to increment counter, and then we'll return our counter. So I think the first thing we need to do is we need, as far as some pseudocode goes, we need to initialize a counter variable. And then we also need to create a vowels array which contains all the vowels for our conditions. What we want to do is loop through our string. Which is going to be whatever argument we're testing. And then while we're looping through that string, we're going to want to loop through our vowels array. Loop through our vowels array. And then we're going to have some checking conditions to check to see if the string at its iteration evaluates true to being the same value as our element in the vowels array. All right, from there, once we see if that is present, then what we're going to do is we need to increment counter. So that'll give us a number of vowels present. And from there on out, what we want to do is we want to return that amount. So we're going to be returning counter variable. All right, so I think, let's see, initialize a counter variable, create a vowels array, loop through the string, loop through our vowels array. If it equals it, increment counter, return. Okay, so I think we're good with our pseudocoding here. So let's start actually coding out what we need to get our results. So we're going to start off with initializing a variable using let. We're not going to reassign it, but we're just going to use let. Actually, we're going to use const because we're not going to be reassigning the variable. And const, it's going to be counter, and counter is going to be equal to 0. Now what we want to do is we're going to create our vowels array. We're going to use using const, and it's going to be called vowels. And this array will include all of our vowels. So A, E, oops, I, O, and U, since we're not using, I think we're not using Y. Okay, not using Y, not using Y. Okay. And then what we want to do is loop through our string. Just fix our indentation here a little bit. Now we're looping through the string. So we're going to loop through the string using the for loop. We're going to initialize I to equal 0. And our value to see if we want to continue is going to be as long as I is less than string.length. And then we want to continue to increment I. So within this loop, what we want to do is we want to also loop through our vowels array. So we're going to have another for loop. We're going to initialize the letter J and set that equal to 0. And then we want to keep on doing that as long as J is less than our vowels array.length, vowels.length. And we want to continue to increment J through each iteration. And then, so now what we're doing is, since we're looping through the string and the vowels, now we're looking for matches. So we're gonna have an if statement here. So we're gonna say if the string at I is strictly equal to our vowels at I. Oh, I'm sorry, vowels at J, wrong array. Vowels at J. We are going to, no, I'm sorry, let me move this pseudocode up. So if it is true, then what we want to do is we want to increment counter. So counter plus plus. I think you can plus equals 1. I'm actually not sure why, but counter plus plus. And so this will have incremented counter. Move this up. And then what we want to do is, in the end, we want to return our counter variable, which will have our count. So return counter. And then, so I'm just going to run it just to make sure we don't have any errors. Oops. Const counter equals 0. Oh, I know what I did. So it says we have an error here, and it's saying it has an unexpected identifier. So let's see. Equal counter. Okay, so I know what I did. I forgot to add the arrow in the arrow function. All right, so let's try that again. All right, so we don't have any errors. So now let's try to run our test cases here, and we're going to log the invocation of the function vowels with an argument of the string hello. And then we're going to also log the invocation of the function hello with the string of ASD. What we want to do is we want to, because we're checking to see if something that doesn't have any vowels in it passes, and ASD. So now we should get 2 and 0. So let's just add our semicolons here and let's run it. Oh, hello. Assignment to constant variable. We have another issue. Oh, const. We're going to turn this into let. And it's going to give us, oh, I'm sorry. ASD does have an A in it. So we're going to try something else. RTPD. All right. We're going to go ahead and try this one. And this should give us 0. So it should be, there we go. We're all good. So what we did here is we constructed a function using ES6 syntax and arrow functions. We set a counter. We set a vowels array, which have all of our vowels in it. We looped through the string array and then nested another loop inside to go through the vowels array. We looped through the string and then we looped through the vowels array and found matches. And then if it did find a match, we incremented a counter. And then we finally returned the counter